Dan, thank you so much for coming. As you can see, the good news is I got a new jacket. The bad news is I'm not allowed into the zebra exhibit at the Bronx Zoo ever again. You guys look great, so welcome to Fox News Saturday night. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, we have such an amazing show, maybe the best lineup ever. Hollywood goddess Shannon Elizabeth is here from the movie American Pie. For real. Yo. I mean, damn. If you haven't seen American Pie, that's the actual comedy where Jason Biggs had sex with an apple pie. It only happened a few times because he wound up marrying the apple pie. You know, things slowed down. Stop it. But I bring up wives because we've got two of them on the panel. Fox and Friends phenom Carly Shimkus and my wife, Jimmy Failla, back on the show. Jenny. That is a good duo because Carly's pregnant and Jenny's married to a guy who looks pregnant. So, there it is. But there is such an amazing vibe across this country. Like, America is on fire this summer. And it really is. It really is. And I think one man summed it up the best. Look at this fella. Watch.
Excuse me.
Okay.
I cannot speak English, but I'm excited!
I love it! Yeah!
I mean, what an adorable guy. It almost makes me feel bad that Tom Homan deported him after that. Yeah, one note to the soccer fans. If you're going to drink sake in Trump's America, never order extra ice. There. God. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Which is not true. The World Cup fans, though, they are loving this country. Like, did you see the Norwegian fans? They were rowing up the escalator. Like, watch this video quick. This is amazing. This is amazing. The best part of that video is they couldn't take an actual boat because they were afraid Pete Hegseth would sink it. So silly. But it is so refreshing that after 10 years of Democrats saying the whole world hates us, the most viral trend in the world is foreigners embracing America. That is amazing. It is amazing. And I want to say this. Some of the footage is adorable. Japanese fans cleaned up the trash in the stadium after the match. Now, to be fair, they had a little time to kill because the game took place in Los Angeles. California needed an extra week to count the goals. There were some last-second mail-in goals that sent it to overtime. It was a mess. But really quick, I just want you to see these sweet human beings cleaning up a stadium. You see them here. They've got bags. They're going row by row. They're literally bagging the trash they brought to the game. Like, we should have played this in downtown L.A. and had them clean up Skid Row. You know what I mean? Just roll the ball through. Go get it. Go get it. But again, okay, you got Japan cleaning them up after the game. Now contrast that with American fans after the Knicks game. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, God. Not good, America. Not good, America. Not good. Not good. Terrible behavior, but I will give those guys credit because they are the only New Yorkers who got a free bus under Mamdani. You gotta... That video was actually shocking to our Congresswoman, AOC, because she's never been on a school bus that long. Stop it. But AOC is not the Democrat making the most headlines this week. No, ma'am. Former President Barack Obama opened his presidential library in Chicago. If you haven't seen the library, here's a pic. Stop it. Stop it. Too much. Too much. It's not true. But the Obama library wound up costing 3 times what they said it would. Nobody likes it. In other words, it's just like his health care bill. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. Let's go. Moving on. Stop it. I'm not here to trash Obama or liberal news networks, anything like that, because you want to know something? I don't even have to. We have Tom Hanks for that. I don't know if you saw this. Tom Hanks told an MS Now reporter that their network only has 800 viewers, and he said it on live TV. He literally 800 viewers, or as they call it at CNN, a huge audience. Cue the song from the Jeffersons. Hold on. Just take a look at this really quick. Just watch Tom Hanks. It's a quick one. Watch.
What can I do for the 800 people
Jacob
watching
Soboroff.
MS Now?
We're live on MS
All right,
Now.
add a 0 to it if you need to.
Whoa! I mean, damn. And you got to understand, that was extra rude, because if you saw the opening, Rachel Maddow was at the event too. Whoa, stop it. It's my bad. That was Rosie O'Donnell. But there was some major confusion about Tom Hanks being there because he's starring in the new Toy Story movie that's coming out this weekend. But he was seated next to the guy who's also known for a Woody. Yep. Bill was looking for that section of the library where the books are behind the red curtain. You know what I mean? And I'm only making ridiculous jokes because the whole thing, it was so absurd. Valerie Jarrett began the ceremony by acknowledging that they were meeting on stolen land, which, again, they did have a representative from the local tribes there, so it's not nothing. But, yeah, you know. That's how it works. Chicago lost the Bears, but they brought in the Chiefs. But I want you to see this. Check out Valerie Jarrett just pandering to the crowd. Watch this.
We'd also like to take a moment to recognize the original inhabitants of the land upon which we are gathered today. We honor the Anishinaabe, the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe, the Odawa, and the Potawatomi nations.
Here's my advice for every woke liberal out there on every continent of the globe who says you're living on stolen land. Either give it back or shut the f up already. Like, what are we doing? Like, saying you stole it doesn't make it okay. If a cop pulls you over for driving a stolen car, you don't get away with it by going, we acknowledge the Johnson family who owned this Honda Accord an hour ago. We'd also like to honor the Smith family who had a motorcycle yesterday, but, you know. Like, the whole land acknowledgement thing, it's just woke nonsense. And as a wise man once said,
everything woke turns to shit.
but what's amazing about the Obama Library opening is they remembered to shout out every single tribe, but they forgot to get Joe Biden off stage. Did you see this? This is going to blow your mind. When the event was over, Jill Biden and Barack Obama walked off stage, but if you'll notice, one guy has no idea where anyone's going. Watch this. So there goes Barack. He's going to play air guitar. He's going to walk off stage. Jill is following him. The official photographer is following Obama. There goes Jill. No one's worried about anything, but now we take a look back across the room. Is there anybody left on stage? Holy, what the f*** is that? Again, we don't go to a lot of presidential library openings, but when the president leaves, you leave. You know what I mean? You know when you go to a wedding, the wife makes it back up the aisle, it's time to go? Not Joe Biden, okay? That was totally that moment. You've always been in a store with a little kid, where the little kid wants a toy, and the mom ain't getting him one, and he's throwing a fit, so she just leaves. She goes, that's it, mommy's leaving. You know what I mean? Joe Biden clearly wanted ice cream. Jill didn't have any. And she's like, mommy's leaving, and she just walked out. And hold on, that's not even the craziest part. Thank you. But it's not even the craziest part, is the band is playing. Everyone off stage, including the guest of honor. Biden randomly grabs the microphone and blurts something out. For real, watch this.
My granddaughter.
Yo, so he spoke kind of fast. If you didn't hear it, he said, my wife is an elder-abusing It is Obama's library opening. Obama's gone, but Joe has a few things to get off his chest. And yo, it was not going to end. Like, they left him out there. It only ended because finally Hillary Clinton had to lasso him with the rope she used to kill Epstein. She had to be like, get over here. You know? Yo, you think I'm kidding? Look at the hat Hillary was wearing and tell me she wasn't storing something in this hat. Look at this. I mean, anybody can fly in on a private jet. Hillary looks like she flew in on a broom, you know? Of course, the guy Hillary lost the election to was Donald Trump. He made all kinds of headlines this week, starting with what we think is a big new, peace deal with Iran, and we know that because he announced it in the most Trumpian fashion imaginable. He just yelled it out in the street to a group of reporters as he was getting into the car. Watch this. Watch.
You signed, yeah. You signed? You signed it? Give your side.
He said it.
Trump is the most informal president we've ever had. Like, guys, a normal president announces a peace deal with like a marching band and a ceremony. Trump blurts it out like he's your next door neighbor in his driveway on a Saturday morning. That's amazing. Yeah, we're going to Target, and then we're going to the vet. We just signed a peace deal. The sprinklers are going to come on after we leave, so back up. Yeah, peace deal. It's amazing. But as crazy as this sounds, the peace deal was not the most informal announcement he made this week. Listen to him telling reporters that the press conference was over. Watch this.
Press conference seems to have gone well. You shot your load pretty much, Steve, right? Pretty much.
Yo, the President of the United States just said you shot your load. Now, as a Republican, okay, it is nice to see something getting shot besides Kristi Noem's dog, okay? Hey. Oh, that joke should have come with a trigger warning. Whoa! But I'm telling you, we will never have a president as real and as raw as Donald Trump again. Listen to him. He's talking about our surveillance capabilities in Iran. And he starts commenting on the names of people living in Iran. Watch this.
We have Space Force cameras on every single door, well, there are no doors, they've been pretty well shattered, but every area of that, if somebody walks in and he's got a badge with his name on it, like Mohammed something, which is about a 50-50 guess, Mohammed something.
He said Mohammed something. Mohammed something is a 50-50 guess. Again, a normal president says, we have the ability to surveil any enemy combatants who come into the region. Trump gets up there, he's like, if somebody flies it on a magic carpet, we're going to shoot him right down. I'll tell you right now. Right down. There's no filter. Okay, listen to him comparing his deal with the last deal we made with Iran. Just listen to the end of this.
Nobody could have made this deal. I mean, the JCPOA done by Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him billions and billions of dollars. And you know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah. I'm just telling you to lap this up because we're never going to see this again. We've never had another president trash president. Like, you never heard FDR be like, well, they called him Herbert Hoover because he sucked. You know what I mean? Get out the knee pads, Herbie's here. You know what I mean? Like, Trump is so unorthodox for a president that people don't know how to react to him. Like, I mentioned Hillary Clinton earlier. I don't know if you saw this. Okay, but she complained on Twitter that Trump desecrated the White House by having a UFC fight there. Here's her tweet. She said, remember, during today's literal cage match on the White House grounds, no matter what, it's not his house, it's our house. Get a hat, coaster, or sticker to support groups and candidates who will respect the form and function of the people's house. Someone needs to tell Hillary that putting a fight on the lawn is not as bad as putting a cigar in the bush, okay? Stick with me, though, because it's not just Hillary. Everybody who hates Trump is just so out of sorts right now. Like, with everything going on in the world, CNN sent out a reporter this week to check the water quality at the reflecting pool in Washington. Watch this.
And we're going to scoop up a water sample to see if we can get this tested.
CNN independently took the sample of water and consulted with a pool store that regularly tests water to help read the results. It showed phosphate levels far higher than what is recommended to keep algae at bay based on estimates for a pool that holds 6.5 million gallons of water.
And of course, this analysis leaves the American people with one question, CNN, which is, are you kidding me? Like, with everything going on in the world, we've got a war in Iran, a war in Ukraine. The government just told us aliens are real. And CNN's like, we got to get on those phosphates down at the pond right away. Like, talk about fighting the wrong battles. Even Jeffrey Toobin thinks you're yanking our chain here, you know? But it is so crazy to think a group of people could miss the mark by that much, like on a regular basis. Like, if CNN was in business when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they'd be doing a study on whether sushi had too much mercury. You know what I mean? The ship is sinking behind us, but could tempura shrimp be bringing you down, you know? And nobody would care about their stupid sushi study except this guy.
I'm excited!
Folks, we got the hottest show ever. Shannon Elizabeth, Carly Shimkus, Jimmy Failla in the house to do the damn thing.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.